may. I'll just be over in the corner.
That's because I know what it feels like because my wife enjoys hockey. She doesn't mind going to the games, but couldn't tell one number from the next and one guy from the next. So, we're on the same page there. We appreciate you girls' patience.
Yeah, I mean, she does a great job where she'll make it seem like she's kind of paying attention, but really not. She'll ask me questions. Because in the summertime, and I'm going to geek out right away here,
yes.
Jeff already mentioned that I have, vintage hockey jerseys and all kinds of stuff. So my basement is one of these, hockey man caves where I have just a whole bunch of jerseys hanging around the basement. And I decided to keep myself entertained over the summer. I would pick a year, each year, starting in, the 50s, and then working my way up to 2018 for the season to start. And I would decorate the basement with those jerseys, and whoever won the Stanley Cup, they'd be on the one wall, and then I would give my fiance Jill a history lesson of what happened that year, and she I can't say she retained any of this, but she acted like she was listening.
Wow, that is deep.
Awesome. I don't want to. I don't want to do spoiler alert here or nothing, but me and Mark's sister are very good friends. And she told me the other night about this whole instance. I was like, "Wow, I love it!" And my wife was like, "That is the dumbest thing I've ever heard."
Yeah. I know. My fiance Jill was saying that I should put it up on Snapchat or something like that, do a little lesson, or on Facebook. I'm like, Nobody wants to see this. Believe me, nobody.
Yes, they would. YouTube that.
Yeah, I would watch that. I would definitely watch that. I'd make Cassie sit here and watch it as well.
All right, I got 2 viewers for next year. I'm in.
All right, we're ready.
It's happening.
If Jill is out there listening, hello, Jill, and I want to congratulate you guys. I never really got a good chance to congratulate you on your engagement. That's awesome. Of course, Mark did it while ice skating, which, there you
go.
Correct.
Congratulations.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, I was wearing a Flyers hoodie when it all went down, too.
Well, I got engaged the day before the Super Bowl, so it's fine.
See that? It's all sports themed. I got so much Flyer stuff on, so much hockey crap lined up here around me. It's unbelievable. My wife thinks I went absolutely mad. But let's get to some questions, Mark, if you will. Let's talk about the upcoming season. Right off the bat, there's a huge question every Flyers fan is actually waiting. Everybody wants to know, and we're all digging in deep, counting down the minutes to the season starts to get this question. What the hell is up with Gritty? What is this thing?
Gritty.
Gritty. I'm not familiar. Can you guys please explain? I have no idea.
Never heard of it, right?
Oh, my goodness. That blew up like something like nothing I've ever seen in my life. I mean, I thought it was just like a local thing, and then all of a sudden it was like a national thing. And it went from my initial reaction was like, oh my gosh, this is the scariest thing ever. And it's like a mockery. And then once the national people started chiming in saying that it was dumb, like Philly just like got all outraged and was like, no, this is our guy. We love him. And I think it's just we were just waiting to see what people think, and then we wanted to do the opposite. So now we love Gritty. He's the best thing in the world, and I don't know. I think it's an incredible PR move by the Flyers because whatever happened, this got all over the place. He was on with Jimmy Fallon and on Good Morning America. I mean, a mascot was on these things. That's crazy.
Yeah, all my friends on Facebook are saying that they would take a bullet for Gritty. I might be with them. We have to defend our own.
Yeah, I mean, Jeff, what do you think? Are you a Gritty fan?
I'll tell you what, I've become a Gritty fan for the same reason we're talking about. Like, he comes out, and Mark, you had a great post, too, because you even put, it's not April 1st, this is real. I thought that was hilarious. And I'm like, I'm watching, I'm like, what the hell is this? And I'm like, this isn't going to work. Then all of a sudden the national media start getting on, and I'm like, we picking on Gritty. He's our guy. He's Philly, man. That's our guy. Yeah. So, that's why I got on it.
And especially his premiere night at the game when he fell, I fell in love with him. I mean, it was just the greatest thing ever, just seeing him just fall right on his back, and it's like, yeah, he's ours.
Oh, yeah. I could not have had a better debut. You couldn't have asked for a better ending. let's talk about the Flyers real quick. I know it's an NHL show, but us here at the Yo Show, the Yo, of course, is for Philly. We come from Philly. We're bringing the world. What is in store for Flyers this season? What do you think coming in? I've seen them ranked pretty high in some categories. ESPN had them like 12th. What do you think for Philly this year, Mark?
I do think they're a playoff team again. I mean, they're in unfortunately, they're in one of these divisions that's one of the better divisions in the league. I mean, the last 3 Stanley Cups have come out of the Metropolitan Division, as you know,
yes.
The Penguins won back-to-back, and last year the Capitals. So you got a lot of high-profile teams in this division. But the good thing for them, you know, because you got to finish at least somewhere in that 3 to 5 range in the division to have any shot at it. Some of the other teams in the Metro are starting to trend down, which is great. You know, the New York Rangers, the New York Islanders, New Jersey Devils, I'm even going to put them in there. I think they were a fluke last year. You know, I think there's some room where the Flyers aren't scratching for every single point like they were last year. And I just think they're an improved team. And I don't know. I think they're solidly in the playoffs this year, but you know, the thing that always haunts the Flyers is the goaltending. And until we have the answer at goaltending, it's really tough to know how far this team can go.
That's absolutely amazing because that is the next question. You know, what do you think about the goaltending this year? Are we going to see Carter Hart this year, or are we sticking with Elliott? And what's the goalie situation? What do you think it's going to look like?
Well, they're going to go with Elliott, it seems like. I mean, the original plan was to go with the Elliott and Neuwirth, but shocker here, Neuwirth got hurt.
No.
So, I know, right? Never saw that coming. So they're going to roll with Elliott, at least for this season. It sounds like Stolarz will be the backup come opening night. They did send Carter Hart down to the Phantoms, but I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see Carter Hart by the end of the year. I think they just want to get him a little bit of seasoning against professionals in the AHL. I mean, the kid just absolutely killed it in the Western Hockey League in juniors, but it's a big step going from juniors where you're playing against 18 and 19-year-olds to playing with grown men in these leagues. So I think they just want him to get a little bit of seasoning in the AHL. I think with the way things are going, and I mean, I can't say that Brian Elliott's going to be healthy all year because he had off-season surgery. So anything could go. Anything could happen here. And I think Hextall feels good enough about Hart that he'll have him at the end of the year if he needs him to be. And then next year, it's Carter Hart's show because Neuwirth and Elliott are both on the last year of their contracts. So that'll be it for those guys. And Carter Hart's your guy from here on out.
That's excellent. That's definitely what everybody here is waiting to see, and hopefully he pans out because we have not had a top-tier goaltender. I actually started out with the names of the guys that ran through town as supposedly the next one that faltered. But I lost the list, so we're not going to cover that. But, yeah, we definitely need a top-flight guy, so let's hope that we can see Carter Hart land soon enough. Question now is to go national. So I like talking some national stuff also. Huge trade this year. Erik Karlsson made his way to the San Jose Sharks, and that makes the Sharks huge. They got one of the best defenses now in the NHL, if not the best. Who do you think in the long run gets the best of that deal? San Jose, or you think Ottawa got a lot of rebuilding parts? What do you think about the Karlsson deal?
Man, I mean, San Jose gets in my opinion, one of the top 5 players in the league in Erik Karlsson. I mean, this guy just does it all, and he still had, as a defenseman, I think he had 60-something points on a horrible team last year. So, I mean, he can bring it, and he's that piece on the back end. I mean, they already have Brent Burns and Vlasic. I mean, they are stacked now on defense. And to be honest, the return that Ottawa got was not that good. I mean, they got a couple guys they're just guys, and like Chris Tierney, and you know, I guess the big piece in that trade was the Norris kid because he was a first-round pick. But I mean, that's they didn't really get a whole lot, and I think they really they hurt themselves by not dealing Karlsson last year. When you know, any team would have loved to have gotten 2 years of Erik Karlsson as opposed to 1, because there's no guarantee that Erik Karlsson's going to re-sign in San Jose. He might just be one and done. And then maybe we look back at this deal and say maybe Ottawa got the better of the deal. But for right now, it looks like, San Jose's, they're a contender. They got a shot at winning the Stanley Cup right now. Ottawa, not so good. They're going to go through a long rebuild.
They are definitely ranked last in this. I mean, I look at this ESPN poll. I don't know why, because they know about as much about hockey as my dead grandma. They don't show hockey, so I don't know why I'm looking at their list. But the funny, it makes the West very strong, and I'm a huge fan. It was last year, and I remain a big fan of the Winnipeg Jets. Of course, Nashville is up there, San Jose, Vegas. There's a lot of good teams in the West. Who is one of the top dogs? A couple teams you think really challenged for the Cup this year? Who do you think is Washington run for the Stanley Cup?
There's a bunch. I mean, in the Eastern Conference, I think Tampa Bay is still the best team out there.
Yes.
They kind of really haven't shown it once they got into the playoffs. I thought they were the best team last year, and I really didn't expect them to lose to Washington, but they did. I think they're the best team this year, but they're fighting out of a pretty tough division too, so anything could happen there. Toronto in the East is also going to be a really exciting team. I mean, their defense still isn't great, but they have all that firepower now with John Tavares joining the team. I mean, they're just going to be fun to watch. They're going to win some 5-4 games, 6-5 games, things like that. You can't count out the Penguins, as much as we hate to say it. They just don't go away.
Even Jordan had a comment on that one.
Just hate all Pittsburgh teams.
Isn't it funny that we were so excited to see Washington win the Stanley Cup just because it wasn't Pittsburgh last year? Like,
it was like
you think about it now, like, why?
I almost got it right.
I was rooting for the Capitals last year, but it's anything but the Penguins.
Dude, I had the cup full of beer. I was drinking it. I'm high-fiving Ovi through the TV and everything. I was like the happiest guy on earth. No idea why.
It was the best celebration of a Stanley Cup ever. I mean, those guys are still hungover. It was crazy. Doing keg stands on top of the Stanley Cup. That's something. They contributed something last year.
That is pretty awesome.
Get back to what you were saying about the other great teams in the league. I mean, you pretty much nailed it in the Western Conference. They're the teams I like too. Winnipeg and Nashville in the Central, Vegas and San Jose in the Pacific. I got a weird hunch that the St. Louis Blues are going to make a run this year after kind of sitting back last year. They were in an interesting spot.
Yeah. I had that as one of the things I was going to ask you. That they're actually the team I listed as a dark horse, because you're looking at the off-season moves. Maroon, O'Reilly, David Perron, Tyler Bozak. So they got a lot of firepower.
Yeah, and they get back Robbie Fabry, who was out all last year, good young player. I mean, and they just have all those good players there in Tarasenko and on the back line with Pietrangelo and Jay Bouwmeester. I mean, they seem to have all the pieces, but their goaltending can be shaky. I mean, Jake Allen's the guy that they want to go with, but he's kind of shown in the past he's a head case. But, I mean, what goalie is it? So.
Exactly. It comes with, you're talking to a town that had Brizgalov in that. So, yeah, I feel you.
Yeah, and you got to love that Carter Hart has already kind of started on it at the World Junior Championships last year. He was playing for Team Canada, and he has this weird thing where, like, he has to be the last guy on the ice before they go in for intermission. So they were playing against I forget what team it was. It was one of these like smaller countries that wasn't expected to do much. So let's just say it was like Switzerland or Latvia or something. So what the coach on the other team did after the first period is they had their backup goalie stay on the ice as long as Carter Hart did, and he like waited out there for like 10 minutes. He didn't go to the dressing room because he had to be the last guy off. So then they were just like, all right, fine. Carter Hart goes off. Then the other goalie goes off. Then Carter Hart jumps back out onto the ice to be the last guy, and then goes to the dressing room. So it's already happening. Goalies are nutcases. Deal with it.
Damn, wow, apparently, yeah. And I mean, the nuttier the better. And you know what? When I wanted to get somebody for the preview show, I said NHL preview show. I said I had to get Mark because he's got these stories, Joel. And I'm telling you, that's a story that's awesome. That's a great story right there.
Yeah. But I mean, they got to be nuts. They're having these rubber pucks fired at them from 100 miles an hour. I mean, there's something wrong with you.
There's got to be. I sit in, like, sometimes I'll sit in the second level, and I'm afraid. When a guy winds up, I'm ducking, and I'm, like, a couple 100 feet high, and it's not even going to come near me, and I'm scared.
Yeah. So are you excited the Flyers are starting off in Vegas? I mean, I was actually out there in Vegas last year for the road
I saw
trip.
that.
It was one of the most awesome experiences ever. So it's pretty cool that they get to start out there this year.
That's what I heard. It's a great experience.
Yeah, only bad thing is it's a 10 o'clock start on a Wednesday night, so the season kicks off like that, or on Thursday night. Sorry.
I wanted to go, and I ran it past my wife. I'm like, how would you feel if I went to Vegas for a day or two and checked out the Flyers game? Maybe went with a couple of buddies, and I basically slept on the couch the next night. Didn't go wrong.
Well, you missed quite a bit.
I can imagine. I hear it's amazing, and then, like I said, you're the enthusiast. You're out there already and caught it, and that's awesome stuff. Let's get back to Vegas, because Vegas did not sit still. I mean, they made it far last year. They had a couple nice pieces, Stastny and Pacioretty. Does Vegas come back? Do you think they've got the power to be an elite team again this year?
I think they do have a strong enough team to do it, but it's hockey. So, like, everything that went right for them last year is going to not happen this year. That's just kind of how it goes, right? I mean, they got an unbelievable season out of Marc-Andre Fleury last year when he was healthy. They were down to, like, their fifth-string goalie at one point of that season. And whoever they put in there, it didn't matter. They were saving, a .930 save percentage or something. And it's just, that stuff doesn't happen. And you wonder about the mentality of the team. I mean, last year they were the island of misfits. They were all guys that their teams didn't want them. They played with a chip on their shoulder. Yeah, and they don't have that now. They're a target. They went to the Stanley Cup Finals. So I don't know. I do like the additions that they made to their team, but I just feel like, I don't know, that all those other things are kind of working against them.
Yeah, last year was so much of a feel-good story. You almost felt like the world was putting him in place. And this year, it's over. Second-year team. They're all glitzy now in Vegas, so we got to see how they play through that. A team that has always piqued my interest, and after the glory years of them beating the Flyers up and down, I became a fan because they always put a good young team out there. The Edmonton Oilers, like, what the hell is going on there? You got McDavid, who is possibly the best player in the league, but they are just tailing downward. Do they come back this year, or are they a squad that's in trouble once again?
And McDavid definitely is the best player in the league. It's a shame that he's in Edmonton and we don't get to watch him as much, because it's just phenomenal what this guy can do. Unfortunately, they've kind of traded a lot of players away that have hurt their chances. I mean, Taylor Hall's in New Jersey shining his Hart Trophy from last year.
That's unbelievable.
That had to sting the Edmonton fans, and they get rid of Jordan Eberle and some other players, and I don't know. I don't see the depth around this team to really be a good hockey team anymore. I mean, they're going to be better than they were last year, but maybe a playoff team, but I don't see them as a big threat. I mean, there's only so much one guy can do. It's not basketball where these guys are. You could have a superstar like LeBron James play the whole game, and he's just a factor in every play. I mean, Connor McDavid's going to play 20, 21 minutes a night, which is a lot, but that's a third of the game. So you just can't do it all by yourself in hockey. And having the best player, you got to build around them. And Edmonton hasn't done a real good job of doing that. So I don't know. I think it's going to take a few years. I think it might take some cleaning out of their coach and GM. As I said before, Chiarelli's traded away so many players that I don't know how some of these guys have jobs.
Yeah, it's a shame. A couple of years ago, they had a good team that had a shot at the Stanley Cup, and then last year, wow, terrible. It's a shame. But I guess it comes down. I guess it comes down to dollars and cents. Do you see them moving McDavid in a year or two if the team can't get it together?
No, you don't trade a guy like that. But it's Chiarelli.
They traded Wayne Gretzky.
They did. This is that's the franchise that traded Wayne Gretzky, and this is the general manager that has traded Taylor Hall, and when he was in Boston, he traded Tyler Seguin for nothing. So I mean, he could do it. I got faith.
Wow.
Sure.
You never know. Here's a great story, and this story. I love hockey. I know you adore hockey. I know a lot of people that love hockey. It's a Philly thing. People love hockey around here, but this is not Philly related. But this is the story of the off season. The Carolina Hurricanes are bringing back the Hartford Whaler uniforms, the brass Bonanza goal song, and everything for 2 games this year. How excited are you to see the old Hartford Whalers in action?
These games better be on television.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I love it. I mean, I don't know how the people in Hartford feel about it. I mean, is that kind of like rubbing it in their face, or like
a little bit? Yeah.
Yeah, because they still have a weird, like, diehard population that are like Whalers fans up there, and they think they're going to get a team back someday. But I mean, that was a franchise that unfortunately was just doomed to fail. They play their games in a shopping mall.
Yeah. Pick out a blouse and then look over at the hockey game. Yeah, it was a shame.
So, I mean, they've been in Carolina since, like, the mid-'90s, so they're not coming back. But I love it. I love when these teams, like, embrace their heritage. I'm all about it. I'd love seeing the Whalers jerseys, especially because they were, like, some of the best jerseys in the NHL. Except for the year that they wore the Cooperalls like the Flyers did. Remember that?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But the Hartford Whalers is a classic, especially now that it's, the rest. Let me ask you a question. How many Hartford Whalers pieces of memorabilia do you own?
Well, I have 2 Hartford jerseys. I have a Ron Francis one that's like the green one that they're going to wear. And then when they changed to like those like blue jerseys and they added like the gray in there, which were kind of sharp looking. I have like one of those, just a plain jersey. Do I have anything? I think that's it. I don't know. I may have like a hat or a T-shirt laying around or something. I have like a banner in my basement too. That's a Hartford Whalers, just a small one.
Oh, is that all?
I know, right? Just 2 jerseys, a hat, a banner in the basement.
I know.
It's
Jeff said
funny.
we were texting earlier, and you said you couldn't find your vintage Canucks jersey. I'm like,
No.
I got 4 Canucks jerseys.
Oh my God! I actually have a story about a vintage Flyer bomber jacket that I believe to be my father's, and my mother dug it up, and it was this really cool, like, it had to be from like the year was like 87 or whatever, but it was cool as shit, and I wanted it so bad. And so my mom dug it up like last year. I'm like, oh my God, this dad's old jacket. Like, I was just talking about this. I want it. And my sister comes in the room and she's like, that's my jacket. I'm like, no, it's not. It's Dad's jacket. Like, fight me for it, right? Because my sister was the all-time number 1 Flyers fan of, like, all time. She stalked the hell out of Rick Tocchet. She thought she was going to marry Rick Tocchet. She had me, when I was, like, 5 years old, memorize every player from that year and name. But she kept, what was the dude's name? Richie? His spoon that he ate off of?
Recky or Richie?
I think it was Richie. She kept his spoon in our family freezer for like a solid year. Like, she had memorabilia from like everything. We used to go to all the Flyers carnivals, but yeah, anyway, she took her jacket back because she proved with old photo albums that it in fact was her jacket. So I was upset.
Wow.
Mark, I hate to say this,
had the
but
proof.
I hate to say this, but I think Jewel actually beat you with the best piece of hockey memorabilia. Mike Ricci's used spoon.
Yeah. She probably still has it, the weirdo.
That's pretty impressive.
Wow, that is impressive. That's crazy stuff. I mean, Mark's got like silverware from random houses, but he can't quite pick who ate out of what. But that's awesome.
A lot of my love for hockey came from my sister Lynn. She's my older sister by a couple years, and she was just the biggest Ron Hextall fan growing up. And we just loved those teams in the late '80s. They were awesome. And we stalked out Hextall for his autograph. He was at Wanamaker's the one day signing autographs. We got to go there as kids, and she's got quite a few Hextall memorabilia things. I think she's got a signed stick by him too. She's,
wow,
that's awesome.
Quite the Flyers fan. Yeah, really got me into it.
Oh yeah. If she's listening in, I want to say hi to her, and if they're listening in together, I want to tell her husband CJ that if Ron Extall ever knocks on his front door, he's no longer married.
Yeah, and Rick Tockett
That
for
is
my
true.
sister.
That's
To this
true, yeah.
day, I think some of her passwords are like Tockett 22 or whatever it is.
But yeah, I mean,
That's awesome.
I've got this. I set up the work area tonight, all hockeyed up. I got the little mini helmets and all my Flyer stuff. I've got the autographed Hextall jersey right behind me that your sister said she would fight me for at any time. So it's here. It's great.
By the way,
I
I love the helmet flicks on the football when the Eagles do win a game. I get to see those helmets get flicked away.
That's one of my favorite things. Yesterday, my brother said, "All right, flick the Eagles helmet, smart ass," and I told me I had to leave my house. No, we don't flick the Eagle helmet. No, we don't. The other funny thing, I don't know if you noticed, Mark, I took a picture of my little helmet layout here on Facebook. I do not have a Vegas Golden Knights helmet, so I use the Los Angeles Raiders. The Oakland Raiders or whatever. They're moving to Vegas, so I improvise. This is my Vegas helmet.
Yeah, that's a good way to do it.
Do you guys, I know this is a side note, but watch Ballers where The Rock is trying to get a football team from Vegas? Do you watch that show on HBO? He's trying to get an NFL team from Vegas.
I hear it's good, Ballers. I heard it's good. I have not seen it.
It's pretty interesting. Yeah, and that's like the concept, I guess, this season. Could you imagine that, like an NFL team from Vegas?
It's going to happen. Oakland Raiders are moving to
they
Vegas.
are moving out there.
Oh, shit.
I know.
When's that supposed to happen? Is it next year? Or?
I believe it's next year. I think it's part of the whole John Gruden thing was moving to Vegas, getting Gruden, getting high profile. You see how well it's working out. They kind of suck.
Yeah. Dude, Vegas was just starving for something. I mean, it was crazy being out there because every, Uber driver or Lyft driver you had, they didn't seem like your typical hockey fans, but they were, all about it, you know? Some of these guys could barely speak English, and they were just like, yeah, Vegas, the Golden Knights, and they were totally into it. I mean, it was that team took that city by storm. And I'm not sure if the NHL's very happy that an NFL team's moving there now because they were, pretty much the only sports gig in town. But I don't know. The NFL will definitely do well there. That'll be crazy.
Certainly, that's a tourist spot that anybody will want to go see a game. So they nailed it. I mean, I know everybody's worried about the gambling aspect, but they nailed it. The big city, it deserves that kind of stuff. Let me nail you now on a couple of Flyers, players, and team predictions before we get you out of here. I know you said you're coming to us from the Burlington County Times. We don't hold you too long. Players' predictions. Claude Giroux. Does he plus or minus 100 points again this year? Over, under? Can he get back to 100?
I think he'll have a very good season, but 100 points is really special. I mean, a lot of things went right for him last year. I think he's still a point per game type of guy, which is great in this era of hockey. So I think somewhere in that 80 to 90 point range would be more fitting, and I think it would be a very good, successful season for him. 100 points is a lot. I don't know that you can do that back-to-back years.
Yeah, I was a little surprised to see it last year. Loved it, but I was a little surprised to see it last year. Let's play a devil's advocate here. Let's play a scenario. Let's say that the Flyers are trending somewhere in the middle, maybe less than the middle, having a rough year. Wayne Simmons. Do they trade Wayne Simmons in any part this season?
This is a tough one. This is one that they're struggling with. I mean, no one wants to get rid of Wayne Simmons. This isn't like a contract they're trying to get rid of. They like him. He comes in at a good price right now, and we're in the salary cap era, so everything comes down to dollars and cents, and more importantly, term. So the thing with the Flyers is, I'm sure they've been in talks with him. They'd like to re-sign him, at least in my opinion. I think they would, but it's got to be a short-term deal. And probably not a lot of money. And Wayne Simmons has been playing on a very team-friendly contract for however long his contract has been. So, I mean, the guy wants to probably get rewarded for what he's done. if I'm the Flyers, I try to make him a 1 or a 2 year deal maybe and pay him maybe a little more than he's worth, but that term's got to go after a couple of years. And if he's not willing to do that, I could see them trying to trade him. But I mean, it's going to be painful. But
yeah,
I think the building blocks are already in place, though. They bring in JVR, who does essentially the same type of thing. So, I think the writing's on the wall for Simmons. It really comes down to, as you were saying, where they are in the standings. I mean, I think if they think they're going to make the playoffs, they'll probably just go with it and let it play out in the off season, because this team needs to win at least a playoff round one of these years. They need to take that next step, and I don't think they would trade them away unless they're getting a first-round pick or something ridiculous like that.
Sure. You mentioned JVR. That was my next question. Now we got a couple more. I know we're running a little past time. JVR, huge season this year. Did you come back strong?
I think he'll be very good. You got to temper your expectations a little bit. I mean, he's a goal scorer. He's not a big points guy. He had, I think, like 30-something goals last year, but he was somewhere in the teens with assists. Yeah. So, I mean, he's probably going to get top power play time, which should inflate his stats. He's going to be on a second line, most likely with Nolan Patrick, which will be good for them. But I don't know that that's a big, high-scoring line. So I don't know. I think he's going to have a very good year, but it's kind of tough to put it in terms of how many points he'll score. I think he's still around a 50 to 60-point kind of guy, and that might just be fine for this team. You know, it's something that the Flyers didn't have last year. He just comes in. You're just paying him money. They didn't have to give up anything to get him, so it's just an addition to the team. It's going to be a big help.
I agree, especially if he ends up with Nolan Patrick. Nolan Patrick was my next question, but I think it kind of summed it up that he's going to get a chance, we hope anyway, to play with a guy with JVR, seasoned veteran, knows how to score goals, and that could make a couple of real solid lines, which we're hoping, because I love Patrick. I want him to come out and be the number 1 overall pick. He's gotten a lot of good stuff to him. What do you think? Was he the right pick?
Well, it's still too early to say, but he was the guy I wanted them to get when, when we didn't know who New Jersey was taking yet. I like Patrick's size, and I think he's a more skilled player. You know, Nico Hischier, who went first overall to the Devils, he's more of a flashy player, but I think overall Nolan Patrick's got a better 200-foot game. He's just going to be a better player. I mean, there's other guys in that draft that are turning out to be some really good prospects. I mean, you take a look at Elias Pettersson in Vancouver. I mean, he's going to have a special season this year for Vancouver. I mean, who knows? He may not be the best player in the draft, but I think the Flyers made the right pick. I mean, I think it was a safe pick and a good pick.